Before filters, Photoshop, and social media, Hollywood had its own natural icons. These were the women who stopped traffic, stole scenes, and became legends, not just for their talent, but for their unforgettable curves. From silver screen bombshells to international sirens, here are 15 old Hollywood actresses who redefined sex appeal, and left the world breathless. Marilyn Monroe, the original Hollywood bombshell. Born Norma Jean Mortensen, she rose from a troubled childhood to become the face of 1950s glamour. With her platinum blonde curls, sultry voice, and unmistakable hourglass figure, Marilyn became a global icon of beauty and sensuality. But Monroe was more than just a pretty face. Behind the scenes, she was ambitious, witty, and deeply complex, often underestimated in an industry that only saw her curves. She captivated audiences in films like Some Like It Hot and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, bringing charm and vulnerability to every role. Her image, playful yet provocative, helped define an era of Hollywood sexuality. Even decades after her tragic death at just 36, Marilyn remains a symbol of beauty, fame, and the haunting cost of stardom. She wasn't just admired. She was unforgettable. Jayne Mansfield wasn't just a blonde bombshell, she was a force of nature. With her striking hourglass figure, platinum hair, and sultry smile, Mansfield became one of the most recognizable sex symbols of the 1950s and early 60s. Often labeled as a rival to Marilyn Monroe, Jayne leaned into her over-the-top persona, turning heads and commanding attention wherever she went. But behind the cleavage and the baby voice was a sharp mind. Jayne reportedly had a genius-level IQ and spoke multiple languages, proving she was far more than the Hollywood stereotype. She starred in films like The Girl Can't Help It and Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter, bringing humor and boldness to her roles. Mansfield's life was as dramatic as her screen presence, and her tragic death at just 34 only added to her legend. Jayne wasn't just curvy, she was unforgettable, unapologetic, and totally in control. Want the next one? Jane Russell was old Hollywood's definition of bold beauty. Discovered by billionaire Howard Hughes, she shot to fame with her debut in The Outlaw, 1943, a film that caused a sensation, largely due to how it showcased her curvaceous figure. Posters of Russell leaning seductively in a low-cut top were considered scandalous at the time, but they turned her into a national obsession. Unlike many starlets of her era, Jane had a no-nonsense, confident screen presence. She wasn't just sexy, she was tough, witty, and sharp-tongued, which made her stand out in films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes alongside Marilyn Monroe. Off-screen, Russell was deeply grounded and unafraid to speak her mind. She challenged censorship rules, mocked Hollywood's double standards, and became an icon of unapologetic femininity. With her statuesque figure and commanding style, Jane Russell wasn't just a pin-up, she was pure star power. Sophia Loren wasn't just a beauty, she was Italian cinema royalty. Born in Naples and raised in wartime poverty, she rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most glamorous and acclaimed actresses in the world. With her smoldering eyes, full figure, and undeniable presence, Loren brought a raw sensuality and elegance to the screen that Hollywood had never seen before. She captivated audiences in both European and American films, starring in classics like Two Women, Marriage Italian Style, and Houseboat alongside Cary Grant. In 1962, she became the first actress to win an Oscar for a foreign-language performance, proving her talent was as undeniable as her beauty. Sophia Loren represented a different kind of sex symbol, passionate, powerful, and deeply human. She aged with grace, always refusing plastic surgery, and never lost her confidence. Loren wasn't manufactured by Hollywood, she conquered it on her own terms. Mamie Van Doren was one of the original blonde bombshells of the 1950s, part of the iconic trio known as the 3Ms, alongside Marilyn Monroe and Jayne Mansfield. With her platinum hair, seductive smile, and va-va-voom curves, Mamie embodied the rebellious, sexy spirit of post-war Hollywood. Unlike her more polished contemporaries, Mamie leaned into a wild child image, often cast as the bad girl in teen dramas, rock and roll flicks, and drive-in cult classics like Untamed Youth and Girls Town. She used confidence, sexuality, and street-smart attitude, all while pushing the limits of what was considered acceptable for women on screen. Mamie didn't just play the bombshell, she owned it. And while she never reached Monroe-level fame, she carved out a bold space of her own, becoming a pop culture icon who celebrated her sensuality on her own terms, and never apologized for it. Ready for the next one? Raquel Welch exploded onto the scene in the 1960s, becoming one of Hollywood's most unforgettable sex symbols. Her image in the fur bikini from 1 million years BC became instantly iconic, a symbol of raw beauty, strength, and sensuality that still resonates today. Welch wasn't just admired for her looks, her athletic, curvy figure and confident presence set her apart in an era full of glamour queens. She brought a fresh, dynamic energy to the screen, blending sex appeal with a strong, independent spirit. Raquel's roles in films like Fantastic Voyage and Bandolero showed her versatility beyond just being a pretty face. She challenged Hollywood's norms by embracing both her beauty and brains, paving the way for future generations of actresses. Decades later, Raquel Welch remains a timeless icon, a true Hollywood legend who defined an era and empowered women to own their sexuality. Brigitte Bardot was the ultimate symbol of French glamour and liberated sexuality in the 1950s and 60s. With her tousled blonde hair, sultry gaze, and effortless style, Bardot redefined what it meant to be a sex symbol, natural, free-spirited, and unapologetically herself. She shot to international fame with films like In God Created Woman, where her bold, sensual performances challenged conservative norms and made waves around the world. Bardot wasn't just admired for her beauty, she embodied a new kind of freedom for women, both on and off screen. Her rebellious spirit and refusal to conform to Hollywood's rules made her an icon of sexual liberation and feminine power. Even after retiring from acting, Bardot remained a controversial and fascinating figure, one who forever changed the cultural landscape of beauty and sexuality. Brigitte Bardot wasn't just a star, she was a revolution in motion. Want me to keep going with the next actress? Rita Hayworth was the quintessential femme fatale of 1940s Hollywood, a dazzling star whose beauty and talent captivated audiences worldwide. With her fiery red hair, sultry eyes, and graceful presence, she became one of the era's most glamorous leading ladies. Rita's performance in films like Gilda showcased her ability to combine vulnerability with seductive power, making her an unforgettable screen icon. During World War II, her image was famously painted on the noses of American bombers, symbolizing hope, beauty, and strength for troops overseas. Beyond her looks, Hayworth was a skilled dancer and actress who worked tirelessly to shape her career in a male-dominated industry. Despite personal struggles behind the scenes, Rita Hayworth's legacy lives on as a symbol of classic Hollywood allure and resilience. She wasn't just a star, she was an era-defining legend whose impact continues to inspire. Want a similar bio for Elizabeth Taylor next? Elizabeth Taylor was more than just a Hollywood star, she was a true legend whose beauty and talent transcended generations. Famous for her stunning violet eyes, dramatic features, and commanding screen presence, Taylor captivated audiences from the moment she stepped on screen. She was celebrated not only for her acting but also for her glamorous style and full-figured elegance, which challenged the often narrow beauty standards of her time. Starting as a child actress, Elizabeth's career skyrocketed with unforgettable roles in films like Cleopatra, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and Butterfield 8, the latter earning her one of 2 Academy Awards. Known for her passionate performances, she brought depth and complexity to every character, embodying both vulnerability and fierce determination. Off-screen, Elizabeth was a cultural icon, known for her multiple marriages, humanitarian efforts, and high-profile life. Her candidness about her struggles with health and addiction only deepened public admiration, making her relatable and human. Elizabeth Taylor wasn't just a glamorous starlet, she was a powerful woman who redefined beauty, strength, and resilience in Hollywood, a timeless icon whose legacy still shines today. Would you like a bio for Lana Turner next? Lana Turner was one of Hollywood's most dazzling blonde bombshells, rising to fame in the 1940s with a combination of striking beauty and magnetic screen presence. Discovered at just 16 while sipping a soda at a soda fountain, her glamorous looks and sultry style quickly made her a favorite in the studio system. Turner became a symbol of old Hollywood allure, known for her perfectly coiffed platinum blonde hair and smoldering gaze. She starred in numerous film noir classics like The Postman Always Rings Twice and Peyton Place, where her performances balanced vulnerability with fierce determination. Lana's ability to convey complex emotions helped her avoid being typecast purely as a pretty face, adding depth to her roles and captivating audiences. Beyond her film career, Lana Turner's life was marked by dramatic highs and lows, from whirlwind romances to public scandals, making her one of Hollywood's most talked-about stars. Yet through it all, she remained an icon of glamour and resilience. Lana Turner wasn't just a star, she was the embodiment of Hollywood's golden age, a timeless symbol of beauty, talent, and captivating mystique. Mae West was one of the earliest and most unforgettable sex symbols in Hollywood, blazing a trail for generations of actresses to come. Known for her sharp wit, playful innuendos, and unapologetic sensuality, Mae redefined what it meant to be a woman in entertainment during the conservative 1920s and 30s. Her larger-than-life personality matched her curvy figure and sultry voice, creating a unique screen presence that combined humor with bold sexuality. Mae's clever double entendres and confident delivery made her movies both scandalous and wildly popular, with classics like She Done Him Wrong and I'm No Angel. Beyond her risque image, Mae West was a savvy businesswoman and writer who fought censorship and pushed boundaries in a time when Hollywood was tightly controlled. She challenged society's taboos with humor and charm, turning taboo topics into laugh-out-loud moments. Mae West wasn't just an actress, she was a cultural icon who empowered women to own their sexuality and speak their minds. Her legacy endures as a fearless pioneer of comedy, sexuality, and female empowerment in film.